What up, everyone? It's Bolivia. I'm here to give you the power rankings for season 3 of the SRDL. So I am here. I did the rankings, and then I have Datboi's rankings as well. I will tell you what he thinks, Mr. Co-leader. So this is B's team. We both agreed it's the worst. I'll have like a full thing of it in the description for your viewing pleasure. But okay, this team had 38 points left over. All right, let's just get right into it. I don't know if you can see my mouse. I might be moving around to some stuff. But okay, for starters, let's take a look at types. No fire. Okay. No fairy. I always like to have a fairy. And then 2 waters, 2 ice, 2 fighting, 2 flying, and 2 bug. And then no rock or ghost or dark as well. But no fire and no fairy is pretty important. You lose out on that fire, water, grass, and fairy dragon steel core. But okay, let's take a closer look at the Pokemon that he has. So for starters, Horriblemon, pretty bad mon, especially because he could afford Braviary, Haxorus, and Kingdra all on this team and still have points left over. Pex is good. I love Pex. Scizor is good. Mega Gladely is powerful. All of these mons, or at least a lot of them, Mienshao I really like. All of these mons are good by themselves. And then aside from the regen synergy of these two, Toxapex and Mienshao, Potato, Tomato, there's no synergy amongst these Pokemon. You've got a ×4 Ice Weak. You don't bother to get a Steel type really outside of this. Like a defensive steel type, or a fire type, which you just straight up don't have, or another. I mean, you technically have 2 ice types to resist ice. Like Articuno is your best ice resist, and it doesn't even resist ice because you get the flying. I mean, I just can roost. And you have your water type, which because of freeze dry isn't even that good of a ice resist. So you didn't really build around that. You have a few other 4 times weaknesses too. Scizor's 4 times weak to fire. Let's see how he covers it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other fire weaknesses. So you have 6 Pokemon on this team weak to fire. And your resists are Toxapex, good fire resist. And then Seadra and Fracture are your 2 other fire resists. Very, obviously the worst team. I mean, he has webs plus Lucario or Glalie. He'll probably get 1 or 2 or 3 even wins. If he makes playoffs, it's a miracle with this team. Let's move on to the other team that I think is unviable. I think all the other teams are good aside from 16th and 15th. Okay, so 15th is Lucar. Okay, let's start by taking a look at types. No electric is pretty big. And no poison is, passable. You can go with no poison, I think. That's actually probably fine, no poison. But 3 fairies, 3 normals. And your normals are Ditto, Malop, and Jigglypuff. For Jigglypuff, it just has no place on this team. First of all, you drafted it in the 3rd round. Second of all, you could do very well to replace this with like Electabuzz or Blitzel, or literally a 1-point electric mom that patches that up. In terms of weaknesses, glaring flying type weakness, glaring poison type weakness. Your best checks for both of these are Aegislash, which only recovers with leftovers. You have good wish support, though, with Sylveon, so, I mean, might be passable. You have good Defog and good U-turn, so the utility on this team is good, and I think where the team is really lacking is any form of synergy. Your Fairy Dragon Steel is Aegislash, Hydreigon, Sylveon, which is, like, pretty bad, because this isn't even a full resist for what you want it to be, since it's weak to dark. And then you got a ×4 Fairy Weak. Let's see how you patch that up. Aegislash again, and then Magmortar. Magmortar is like pretty okay. The stats are all below average, like the average stats for this team. And I think that's because of Jigglypuff, like, really bringing them down with 20, 25, and 20. But, like, does Kingler really belong as your water type? As, like, your only water type? A Pokemon that is best known for... I don't even know what it's best known for. Maybe it's Poultry 50, 550 special defense, where it just drops to, like, an Absorb. Ditto is also pretty bad in draft, because you could very easily prep for it. Hydreigon is also, in my opinion, a bit overrated in draft, because it's better with Z moves, and there are none of those here. So it's either going to be just Scarf. I mean, it's probably just going to be Scarf mostly, because Nasty Plus not that good. It'll come down to how good Megalop can be on this team, really. And it's not, like, built around that well, in my opinion. Whimsicott's a good mon. Alakazam, I think, is a good mon with Magic Guard. There's like a helpful Toxic switch. This team actually kind of fucks Toxic. Aegislash, Gligar with immunity, Magic Guard, Alakazam. Just helpful for Melop and Hydreigon, I guess. Yeah, I think this team is like 3 wins max. And that depends on how good he is. His buddy also said that he's new to draft too, so... Okay, next team. Those were the only 2 unviable. I think Paraic, who is in 14th, and I don't know if that I'm saying that right, we're just going to go with Paraic. Paraic's team was astronomically better. Astronomically better before the adjustments he made. Let's take a look at those really quickly. Heading on over the waiver wire. He used to have Ashgren Lando T Mega Mawile with Umbreon Slowking, which is actually a tried and true defensive core. Rotomo is a great Pokemon. Okay, we'll talk about his team later, but his former team had Ashgren Lando T Mega Mawile. Having one of those Pokemon is good. Having all 3 of them is like, that's like a team that would make Gen 7 OU people be like, all 3 of those mons need to get banned. You also have a great supporting mon in Talonflame, which is very slept on because it has Gale Wings, Roost, and now it has Heavy Duty Boots, so it can be really annoying with like Wisp Roost and stuff like that. Acrobatics. And then you had Murkrow, which is a great prankster Pokemon. Coughing Shinx are weird. Okay, but let's talk about what he kept. Ashgren is a good Pokemon. A bit tough to use in Draft League because you need to get that Battle Bond to activate, which they can block pretty easily. However, dude, this mon is so terrible in Draft. Because it's at its best. It's either Flare Blitzing or U-turning. Like, you don't really want to click Zen Headbutt, Hammer Arm, whatever else it can get at all. And it's always going to run Scarf. Like, I don't see, like, any other set it can run besides Scarf. And maybe Choice Band. And it would actually, you know, kind of, like, destroy my team. Excuse me. But that's neither here nor there. Like, my switch into it is Draco Vish. Okay, but... I don't know if I play him. I'm getting a bit off subject. This is a horrible fairy type, by the way. Yes, it gets Wish, but you already have Umbreon for Wish, so I don't know why you picked this. You could have gotten a more aggressive fairy type. You know, Slurpuff wasn't available, but something along those lines. We didn't talk about types. 2 dark types is fine. All of these types you don't really need. I like a psychic type, but you know, you can get away with it. Like bug and rock are 2 types that you don't want. But the fighting weaknesses. And yes, you have Jellicent, but 1, 2, 3, 4 is pretty bad, especially since 2 of those are like very cornerstone Pokemon. We'll get into these weird ice types at the end later. Coughing is a good 1-point mon. Skarmory Jellicent is pretty nasty for defense. Let's talk about the good of this team. Why I think this team is good. Komao-o is a great draft mon. Jellicent, Rotom-o, Skarmory. Like, these middle 4 are all dope. I love all 4 of these guys. And then Umbreon works on this team worse than normally would because you have a Mega Audino. But it's a good Wish Passer. Foul Play, Heal Bell. You have good Heal Bell support. I don't know where it says it on here. And then you can do some pretty nasty Trick Room stuff with like Min Speed, Mamoswine. Bring Physical Ashgren. That'd be so sick. Okay, I'm getting a bit off track. I don't know what these 2 are doing. So you have Snow Warning Vanillux. Which is good if you have something that can Slush Rush. You drafted it with a Snow Cloak mon, which is the worst of its 3 abilities. You probably normally want to use Thick Fat to nullify the fire type. Although you have 4 fire resist, so maybe you would be running a bit of Snow Cloak, but I feel like that's such a waste. Like, I don't know why you would take these 2. Instead of, you could keep your Mamo, good ground and ice, and then replace this with, like, a lower tier Psychic, like Musharna or something, which would be better. Really, the reason this team is so low is because these 2 together don't make sense. This is a terrible Unmon, and then these 2 don't really make sense. Like, that's like opportunity. This team had a lot of opportunity, and it was crazy good before the changes that were made. Okay, next team is JTrickster. Now I'm going to preface this with those last place 3 teams, Datboi had them all in the same spot as me. So it was 16 Bees, 15 Lucar, 14 Paraic for the 3 of us. Now I have JTrickster in 8th, ToeyJoast. Sorry, I have him in 13th. Datboi has him in 8th. That's the biggest, like, discrepancy among our 2 lists. I think this team is way worse than Datboi does. I'll explain why. Once again, no electric type, no ghost type, 3 normal types, 2 fairy types, 2 water types. The water types we'll get into later. But the fairy types, you know, Mega Altaria is a great Pokemon. Ninetales Alola, not so much, especially on a team like this. You drafted so many HO Pokemon. Ninetales, Alola, and Azelf are great, like, leads on Hyper Offense. This team does not have any Hyper Offense Pokemon except Swellow, maybe. This team is kind of a team that wants to, you know, balance, take it more slow. You have Heatran, Donphan, Amoonguss, which is a pretty good, like, one of the better defensive backbones in the draft. Okay, I'll just get in right what I have a problem. Chinchino is a great mon. Love Chinchino. Greninja, obviously. Protean Legal is fantastic. Swellow is overpriced because we made it that way on purpose, but it's a good mon. A lot of these mons are just good. I'd say Beware, Chinchino, Amoonguss, Donphan, Swellow, Heatran, Mega Altaria, Greninja. All those are good. Ninetales, Alola, Azelf, and Mudkip are not good. Especially on this team. You have no Pokemon that's immune to Hail, for starters. So, anytime you bring this in, you're damaging yourself. So, there's 0 Hail synergy. There's not even like there's just 0 Hail synergy. And Aurora Veil, there's not even that much that wants to take advantage of it, except maybe Mega Altaria with a D-Dance. But that's better with a bulky set anyway, so you'd want to get like 2 to 3 up, and you just would be able to roost and heal bell anyway, so... Let's just talk. I think Heatran should be Magnezone on this team. Mega Altaria Magnezone is one of the greatest cores that you could have. And I will do you one better. Gothitelle here, or Dugtrio here. You just trap anything. Trapping something that gets in the way of Mega Altaria sweeps, which is usually a steel type, which is why Magnezone is so good, is impeccable. Now, you technically trap with this Mon with Magma Storm. However, you have to, you know, be in for a turn and get the Magma Storm on the correct Pokemon. Now, sorry if you can hear my chair squeaking. I'm just readjusting my seating. You know, you have good, like, okay hazard removal, because there's going to be a lot of Rapid Spin Donphan, I think. Great hazard setting. Good knockoff users. Yeah, I mean, 4 U-turners is pretty okay. I don't know how many of these mons would use U-turn. Actually, I think all of them but Chinchino would. This team's not bad. It is just not good. Really weak to the flying type. Yeah. There's not a lot on this team that can recover. There's Roost, but Heatran, Donphan, and Amoonguss, and Ninetales Alola all don't get recovery moves. So defensively, they're relying a lot on leftovers. I really think this team would benefit a lot from like a Rillaboom. And of course, you know, Amoonguss has regen, so that's alleviated. You know, I think this will depend a lot on how good he is as a battler. I think he did pretty well last season with us in the lower leagues. I don't know. I don't know why you picked Mudkip here. You know, Protean Gren really helps with your types a lot, but still. Next up. Okay, Tiny started out with a great draft, in my opinion. But Datboi and I both have him ranked 12th. Let's talk about it. There are a lot of good mons on this team, and then there's a lot of, like, tiny things that, like, he did that are, like, very tiny-esque. Let's talk about types. No Grass is pretty big. No Dragon is huge. And then no Dark is also big. So, and, like, no Ice, doesn't matter. Bug, Rock, Ice, and then some other types that aren't part of the cores. Like, you know, you don't even really need a Dark. Like Ghost and Psychic and Flying if you have a Levitate Mon. I really would just say Ice, Bug, and Rock are the types you could get away with not having. Okay, but let's talk about this team. Great Pokemon to fall into your hands at 13th. Very underrated Pokemon. Another great Pokemon. When I saw these three, I'm like, oh shit, Tiny's good now. And I think this is his best draft of the 3 that he's had with us. But he drafted a lot of tiny Pokemon that are just, like, you really just don't want these Pokemon on your team. First of all, horrendous speed all around. You have 119, 100. So you're not outspeeding Pokemon at 120. So, like, Tornadus Therian outruns your whole team. You know, you wouldn't have a problem with it, of course, but I'm just saying. And then also, you don't really have good Scarf options outside of Rotom and Toxtricity. Toxtricity does not belong here at all. You have a Poison type and an Electric type, and you are missing out on Grass and Dragon and Dark. So you could take, like, literally Appleton would be better. Araquanid is a tiny Pokemon. I feel like Webs is really overrated. Good hazard setting, though. Web Spikes, T-Spikes, Stealth Rock. Runerigus is a great Pokemon. He is superbly weak to... Wait a sec. He's not really superbly weak to Ghost. Because he has Licky Licky. Which, okay. Great Wish Passer. And it's a great Pokemon on this team. Okay. Licky Licky was a fantastic pick in my opinion. because you have 2 Pokemon that can't recover naturally outside of Pain Split. So you really want to be able to pass wishes into those. And then your offensive Pokemon appreciate Wish a lot too. You have a Court Change, which isn't listed here. So you have one of the best effortless defoggers. You have a Rapid Spinner, and you have Court Change. So Hazard's Tiny just says fuck no. I don't think this team is that bad. I think this team has like typing issues and like really bad Pokemon. I don't really like any of these 4. Hitmontop is, aside from Intimidate, really bad. 50, like 95, 110 is very deceptive. They make you think it's good. It's not. It's slow. It's setup fodder. It will depend on how well these 2 can do. He might be able to make playoffs. Okay. Next. So Mega's next. I have Mega ranked a bit higher than Datboi. Datboi had him in 13th. I have him 11. Okay. The reason why I have him so high, you've got your Fairy Dragon Steel Core, and your Firewater Grass Core, and then your 5 other Pokemon. And it really is going to depend on how well his 5 other Pokemon did. So his types that he's missing are Normal, Ice, Poison, and Dark, which are, you know, types that aren't as necessary. He really just is like, okay, I'm going to get my Fairy Dragon Steel and Firewater Grass out of the way. Okay. Really, really, really good stuff here. Clef is a great Wish Passer. Now here's the problem. Morning Sun, Recover, Roost, Roost. You don't really need to pass Wish into a lot of these things. Okay. I'm yawning. Sorry. Okay. Not 8. Oh, oops. Guess we spoiled who's in 10th. Sorry about that. To BanetteBandit. But let's talk about okay. Really good average attack stat. 100 is like crazy. His lowest attack stat is 60, which is like very crazy. And then he's got good speed tiers too, with 100, 210s, 105. Actually, that's not good speed tiers. I thought Archeops was 120. So yeah, that's actually a problem. The defog, you're not gonna have to worry about. No toxic spikes is fine. He's got great pivot. I think this is a good team overall, actually. Now, the reason why this team is so low is that it is a lot of not win-con Pokemon. This is your win-con. You have to bring SD Mega Scizor like basically every week, and probably have Roost on it too. So it's SD Roost, Bullet Punch, and then either Knock Off or Bug Bite or U-Turn or really whatever you want. You're going to bring a lot of CM Clef on this team. Latios is not a win-con, even though there's no Pursuit. Oh yeah, that's another thing. This Pokemon is a lot better in no HP meta because there's no HP Fire. Yeah, okay. The other thing is that you don't really... I mean, Intimidate Luxray, I actually think... Excuse me, he has one of the better low tiers. Doubling up on Rock is a bit iffy. I don't... Actually, I would get rid of Archeops on this team. Because you have good Defog and Stealth Rock capabilities already. You really only need one other rocker with Clef, in case you want to bring it to sweep. I mean, okay, but back to what I was saying about bad capabilities with getting rid of stuff. Yanmega is 4 times weak to rocks. So you really want it to have heavy-duty boots, but if it has heavy-duty boots, then Speed Boost isn't that powerful. Speed Boost and Tinted Lens are both incredible abilities, but I mean, here's the thing. This Pokemon is heavily limited by rocks. 4 times weak to flying, 4 times weak to rock, 4 times weak to fire, 4 times weak to water and grass. Got a lot of 4 times weaknesses here. Yeah, I think this team could be a bit better if you get rid of Archeops. And I don't think there are enough win cons here. Like, all 3 of these Pokemon in the Fire, Water, Grass are defensive. I think you could easily drop... I mean, you could try to get Darmanitan instead of Arcanine here. Darmanitan actually works well on this team. You could also get away with having, like, a more offensive Grass type. Or a better Dragon type than Latios with Clef. Sorry, I'm yawning. Alright, next team. So this is top 10. I have this team in 10th. Datboi, however, has this team in a bit of a different spot. I'm lying. He has this team in 10th too. I forgot. The next team he has in a different spot. I will say now that Datboi and I had the most similar we've ever had this season. JTrickster was like our biggest difference. Okay, the reason why this team is low for me is because it just seems like the Darmgalar show. Zeraora is so overrated because everyone sees the shiny 143 speed and is like, wow, 143 speed. But it's super overrated. It does no damage. I mean, you can like CM with it. But still. I mean, like expert belt sets can do okay if you have like the perfect coverage. It's very luck dependent. And Volt Absorb is fine if you have electric weak Pokemon. But your only electric Pokemon that you have that are weak are like Primarina and Moltres. Which is actually not that bad. Okay, that's actually something good. Spates a lot of electrics. Which helps you get away with this garbage ground type. Sand/ground. Like it really does not do anything for you except Stealth Rock, Rapid Spin, Toxic, Earthquake. Every single week. And you can send in like a Corviknight, just walls this Pokemon to eternity. Okay, Latios is fine. Maybe a bit early to take it, but it's okay. Specs Lati is good. Can CM Roost. Can do a lot of different things. Scarf, Trick. Good Pokemon. Darmgalar is great. The Pokemon that got banned from Gen 8 OU, Darmgalar and Dracovish, the one-note Pokemon that are like super Unga, are good. He also has Zen mode access. I don't know if he'd ever use it. Probably not, but he could do like sub-belly jump Zen mode Select Berry shenanigans, which is actually very powerful in this because people will switch to their Guerrilla Tactics counter and be like, hello, and then you just sub and kill him. Very interesting third pick at best. Not that good. The biggest problem with the draft. Mega Aggron is a Pokemon with 70 HP, phenomenal defense. Oh, by the way, really good overall attack. But phenomenal defense, Mega Aggron, but it cannot recover. Not even with lefties, because it can't hold them. And you have no wish. So that's really a wasted opportunity. Snorlax is a great Pokemon. This is worse Scrafty, and no one can tell me otherwise. It is really just worse Scrafty, because Scrafty gets Dragon Dance and Bulk Up. And I don't even know if this thing gets either. It definitely doesn't get Dragon Dance. Good Pokemon. Like, good low tier, I think. Really bad Pokemon, though. You already have an Ice type and a Flying type, and you're missing... You're not missing any type that is really important, but you could drop this for, like, a Poison type, I think would be better. Look at this thing's abysmal stats. And it has, like, Defog and Rapid Spin, and that's about it. Yeah, this team is good. I think overall it's good. It's missing some stuff, but it's like, you know, it's built well around Darmgalar. Great, fantastic defogger, and he'll probably be fine, depending on how well he can utilize like the versatile Pokemon on his team. Like, he's gonna have to earn his victories, but he definitely can. Next up is Pratt. Pratt has had Datboi at 6th place, so Datboi likes this team a lot. And I can see why, because at first glance, he has an incredible thing going on over here. Mega Latias, Gliscor, Tapu Fini. These are 2 fantastic Pokemon, because this is a Pokemon that can set up and destroy, and this is a Pokemon that can set up and destroy, and they can do other stuff too. This can be like Defog U-turn, Rocks U-turn, Knock, whole host of things. Zarude is honestly pretty underrated. Incineroar is good. And that's about where the things end. The reason this team is so high is because of these 3 are so good together. Like I saw this, I was losing my mind. However, for some reason, for his Steel type to round out the Fairy Dragon Steel, he drafted another Water type and a bulky Water type too. Which I'm like, interesting. And then he drafted for his Poison type another Dark type, and then for his Fire type another Dark type. I don't know why he had so many Dark types. Something I really like about this team is this team literally just says fuck Steels, because it has Empoleon, which is one of the best Steel type resists in the game, and it also has Incineroar, and it also has Thundy T. Speaking of which, this Pokemon has no place on this team, because, okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room, Arctozolt on this team. Arctozolt is one of the craziest Slush Rush Pokemon. However, you just didn't bother to draft a Slush Rush, like a Snow Warning Pokemon for this. So just literally just try to trade for Vanillix, or Vanillish, literally, because you don't really want Obama Snow, because of Zarude, and Alolan Tails is taken. But there's probably a Snow Warning. Like, you could probably grab Aurorus, actually. You have no Rock type. Like, I just don't understand. Incineroar's a good mon, Zarude's a good mon, but together? Empoleon is a good Steel type, but not a good bulky Water, and you actually have another bulky Water, so this is one of the better Empoleon related teams, but like at the same time, like, what is Thundy T bringing to the table here with the Pokemon that you have? Like what unique does it do without a good Flying Stab? I don't know. Pretty uncool average stats. The defense is okay. Then I don't know what the hell these last 2 Pokemon are doing here. When you're missing a fighting type. And these types that aren't that important in normal, but fighting is actually one you might want to patch up. And then you're pretty badly weak to Fairy here too. Your only rock resist is Empo, which needs to leave. Okay. In 8th place, so the first Pokemon in the top half, the first team in the top half, I have DJ Barara. I love this team. And Datboi doesn't. Datboi has it in 11th, but I love this team. I think this team is so unique, and it's really cool. Even though it's like also like the worst defensive team I've ever seen in my life. It's horrible defensively. This can recover. And then you have grassy terrain, and this can recover. And then this, and this all cannot recover. And you have like Slurpuff Wish, which is like its 3rd best set, and not that good. Trapinch is an expert Pokemon, and I really love the Sun Core. I love a team that is not just full Sun. Like, you don't draft Torkoal in the first round. Like, I'm so glad that that's not, like, a thing people do anymore. And they just grab, like, hey, I'm going to have 3 Sun Pokemon that you're going to have to prep for every week, but I'm not even going to have to bring every week, because I have other ways I can win. Most versatile Mon in draft. Really great Mon that fell pretty far. Really great mon that fell pretty far. Really great mon that fell pretty far. The most annoying Pokemon of all time that I hate, but it's good. This is a great utility mon. It's like the Swiss Army knife because it can fuck you this way, but it also has sticky webs and wish, and I think heal bell too. If you're running, Mew, you gotta use flip turn instead of U-turn. Expert style. I will say, the water type is staggering, but I think you'll be okay. Give me 1 second, folks. Alright, sorry about that. I really like Trap and Shear because you have Arena Trap access and then 100 attack with this Pokemon for some reason. So in that way, with a Focus Sash, it's a good revenge killer. I don't know how good this thing is in the sun. I feel like there was Executor available. Or Lilligant or something. Okay. That's really all I have to say about this team. It's good. It's really good, but it's terribly defensive. It's terrible defensively. Alright, next team. Phoenix. This is the team of, if you didn't have 3 flying types, you'd be better. Blaziken Celesteela is nice. It's very nice. He nabbed up Vaporeon really early, which is good because it's got that wish flip turn stuff, which you would love to see. Blaziken gets defog. I didn't even know that. So Speed Boost Blaziken is very, very tough to deal with because after a Swords Dance and a Speed Boost, it's basically like using Dragon Dance but getting +2 instead of +1. I'm sure you all know this. Mega Manectric is very, very great, and I'm so glad he took it. And the speed tiers are good because he's got 135, 115, he's got a few at 100, he's got 95, then he goes to 80, 85. Like, this is really, really top-notch speed tier crafting. Let's take a look at his types. He's only missing 2, and it's normal, which, you know, missing normal kind of sucks, and then bug. But, I mean, he did well for himself in terms of types, and I think, oh no, he does have an ice type in Sneasel. You're right. Gorsala. Chef's kiss of a Pokemon. Cursed Body, Eviolite, Wisp, Strength Sap, Nightshade, Stealth Rock. I think it gets Stealth Rocks, yeah. Ludicrous Pokemon. And it really, okay, Celesteela superbly appreciates Vaporeon. I don't think it it doesn't get Cosmic Power like we all thought it would, but it can be very potent. You could give it Specs, you could give it Band, you could give it Automatize, you could give it Leech Seed Protect, you could give it just whatever you want. Assault Vest, I've seen it run. You got Credilli for his Grass type. It's pretty funny because he was already like destroying water types with an immunity with Vaporeon and Salamence for the resist. Salamence I think is a bit overrated because it's better with Z moves. But you could do like Draco Meteor eject pack shenanigans. Although I don't know what you'd go into, probably this. Comfy's a good mon. CM Draining Kiss with priority. Pretty nice. I think this is a good team. Has the potential to go far depending on how creative he could be with sets. But, you know, at the same time, a lot of it is riding on Blaziken, Celesteela, and Nidoking. And Noah Hidden Power makes Manectric super weak to ground types, which is something to be mentioned. Next. Me. I got ranked in 6th, and then Datboi had me in 7th, behind Pratt, which Pratt's team is probably worse than mine. First of all, he had Phoenix in 8th, and I had Phoenix in 7th. And then he had DJ Barara in 11th, where I had him in 8th. So, to catch you up, we all share the same top 5, but in a different order. So, no team that was in the top 5 of ours was one of ours was in outside of the top 5 in the other. So, I could talk about my team for a lot. I could talk about like my draft process. But first, I want to point out that I have probably the best typing combination. I've got one of each, so no overlapped types. I'm only super weak to ice. I only don't have ice, bug, and rock. The only types I'm pretty weak to are ice, which Blissey and Corv will handle, and fire, which Dracovish, and then I have the immunity in Typhlosion. And Dracovish is a ×4 resist. And physical fire types are hard to come by, and special fire types get eaten for eternity by Blissey. I mean, I could see something like Salazzle giving this team a hard time, but other than that. So for starters, you got Mega Alakazam, which is good. And I wanted to draft Mega Alakazam and use it and not take webs and not take Lele, because I too often see that. And Mega Alakazam is really good just on its own as a win con. The real meat and potatoes of this team was Dracovish Blissey, because that is a teleport core. You teleport into your big hitter, which is Dracovish, and you just hope they don't have their water resist, and you kill it. So for starters, Pincurchin Sceptile is really cool, because you got Electric Surge, Unburden, and it's the only Unburden mon aside from Hawlucha that gets Swords Dance, so it can actually sweep really easily, and I can put a pretty good amount into, these defenses are bad, but they're not awful. It's nothing to sneeze at if you invest in it. It can live a hit, especially a +1 defense and max HP. I mean, this thing is doing some serious damage. Granted, 85 attack is bad. Buzzwole is a great two-way Pokemon because it can either be that monstrous 139 attack stat, or it can be a really great physically defensive Pokemon with a pretty unique defensive typing, which resists some cool stuff like, dark, bug, ground, fighting, grass. So Blissey Buzzwole is part of what's called Stall, which is swag to all, where it's Bliss Chad and Buzzlord, where you run the Rocky Helmet, Roost Toxic set of this, and then the Toxic Teleport set of this. I wanted an effortless Defogger, and Corvi happened to be there round 5, which is crazy. And then I drafted Skuntank as backup Defog in case I wanted to bring the bulk up set of this. Mudsale's a great secondary rocks option. Fairy type that doesn't get Wish, and it's like a Calm Mind, Draining Kiss, Psyshock, Mystical Fire user, which is pretty, broken. Kind of like Hatterene in that way, but it doesn't share the Psychic type with Zam, which was important to me. And then, great Scarfer and great Specs user. Flash Fire helps for the fire weakness. Specs Eruption after getting the fire type boost is pretty nasty. The big weakness of this team is no knockoff users aside from Mega Zam, which is never bringing knockoff. Pretty horrible pivot. You have U-turn Corvi and teleport Blissey, and then other than that, it's just hard switches. But I think I'll be fine. I'm hoping Sceptile is fun. I think this team has really good low tiers too, is part of what makes it good. Top 5. In my 5th place is Chungus. Datboi had him in 4th. And then Datboi had himself in 5th, and I have him in 4th. So we'll cover these two teams a bit together. I think he's crazy for having himself behind Chungus. So let's talk about Chungus's first 6 Pokemon that frustrated the hell out of me. First of all, this says Grookey and it should be Thwacky. But, not that it really makes a difference. Both Pokemon are bad. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Naganadel Urshifu. I was so happy when I saw that because that's my Season 1 core, part of the Iron Wall represent. I stole Blissey from him. Skarmory is, I think, on Paraic's team. I don't know where. Oh, and Tiny is Mega Gardevoir. Okay. Togekiss is so annoying in Draft League. It's got the two-way defog wish capability. And it also has Serene Grace Air Slash with the Choice Scarf, which can single-handedly win games that it shouldn't be able to. Melmetal is another Pokemon I've used in draft with 143 attack. I will repeat that again for posterity. It has 143 attack. And Trick Room, it's nigh unstoppable. Mega Bayonet, by the way, great Trick Room setter. Torracrat is a great low tier, Intimidate, and then Charge a Bug in case you want to webs for Urshifu or Melmetal or Naganadel. Naganadel, by the way, without Nasty Plot, so it's not as good. Why I have this team in 5th? The reason why I have this team in 5th is because I don't think his low tiers are on par with the rest of the people above him and a bit of the people below him. I think his first 6 Pokemon are great, and he'll probably just bring those to every week. Naganadel is a very underestimated grass resist, which I have paired with a ×4 Grass Week myself in Seismitoad. He had Swampert. They're really similar. Seismitoad's way better. Or is it? I actually think Swampert is better because it has Flip Turn. But what do I know? Speaking of Flip Turn, immaculate pivot. Oh, and Deoxys Speed that he managed to get on this team is insane. I love that Pokemon. You've got so many options with it. Nasty Plot, Calm Mind, Specs, Band. You don't need Scarf. Suicide Lead. It can set Trick Room on this team for Melmetal. You've got all sorts of stuff. You've got Bulky Calm Mind, Offensive Calm Mind. I think that mon is just straight up insane. I think this team is good. I think Ambipom is just a bad Pokemon because it's Skill Link Tail Slap but worse than Chinchino, or it's Technician Fake Out normal gem stuff, which is also pretty bad. And you don't need it on this team with 2 insane physical attackers. I think you could have gotten something else. Excuse me, Chungus also did a great job with his types. He's only missing Ice and Rock. He's got one of each. He is pretty badly weak to flying. Melmetal is his one resist. And Togekiss Wish Passer is one of the worst Wish Passers. It's not bad. It just doesn't want to bring Wish every week. And Melmetal likes Wish a lot. I've had Melmetal Florges before. And I think, he could have benefited from not having as much knockoff weak Pokemon. Nothing on this team wants to get knocked and lose its item. Datboi's team is next. Something I admire about Datboi's team building is he always does really well with his low tiers. His low tiers are so good here. Because Illumise, Clefairy, Steelix, Vullaby, not only are just good Pokemon by themselves, but except maybe for Vullaby, those 4 really help patch up the holes in his team. He's got the starter Firewater Grass Core, which is sick. That's so cool to me. Infernape, Blastoise, Superior. Mega Stoice is underrated because it's 78 speed with Rapid Spin, which A, gets rid of hazards, and B, puts it at +1 speed, and that 135 plus Mega Launcher, so Water Pulse, Aura Sphere. Does it get Dark Pulse? I think it gets Dark Pulse is the other pulse it gets. I think it gets Terrain Pulse. He has no Terrain, unfortunately. Something like Coco on this team would be cool. He somehow got Kyurem Black in the 3rd round, which in my opinion is another overrated mon. But on this team, it's good. I'll explain what the best part of his team is. Okay, first of all, Necrozma sucks. But this is the best Necrozma team I've ever seen. because Necrozma is a very good hider of it if it's going to be attack, physical or special. Same with Curum, same with Infernape. It's going to be impossible to prep for all 6 of those combinations every time. The Heligo is a bit overrated, but it's good. And he's got pretty good ground resists in that regard with 2 immunities. Clefairy is pretty nice with that Eviolite and Wish port stuff. Yeah, I like this team a lot. Serp is a lovely Pokemon. I love Serperior. Can close games by itself. Subseed, Leaf Storm. No hidden power. Kinda sucks. It's walled by a lot of grasses now, but it's still pretty nice. Okay, top 3. We both have the same 3rd place. And his name is Helix Cena. Helix drafted a phenomenal team, especially his last 2 picks. Now, the joke there is that I made his last 2 picks for him. But, okay, let's talk about it. First of all, he has every type in the game because he has Silvally. And it says he has 2 normal types here, but that's horseshit because he has Silvally. So one of them is just not a normal type. The only types he doubled up on are Fairy, and his 2 Fairy types could not be more different, except the fact that they're both boned by Steel. If you look here, all of this is either green or it's the same amount. He has no types here that he is weak to more than he resists. So Pult Mandibuzz is always an impeccable core if you could find something to deal with fairies. And he got the 2 most annoying fairy resists in the game in Jirachi and Weezing He has Wish Rachi, Wish U-turn Jirachi, great Wish passer. Seismitoad loves the Wish. So does Weezing so does Silvally. He's got 3 ripe Wish. Oh, okay. Eldegoss and Centos Scorch are both really great Pokemon here. I don't know who managed to find those. They're both diamonds in the rough, and whoever said to Helix that he should pick those is a very intelligent person. Okay, back to the team. Dragapult, of course, is going to be great every week. Mega Diancie, overrated, but, you know, on this team is good. And there's a lot of other things you have to worry about that make Mega Diancie better. Like, for example, Calm Mind Jirachi, Scarf Ironhead, Serene Grace, Flinch Haxing the game, kind of like Togekiss. There's Munchlax on this team, which is probably the best low tier in the game because it literally just fucks people. It 6-0'd the finals last season of the upper league. Just people are always like, oh, he's definitely not going to bring it. And then the person brings it and it like fucks them up. I don't know why why we didn't increase the price of this. It's like really good. You need like Haze or Whirlwind to get rid of it. Okay. Top 2 is Chandy and Tess. Datboi has Chandy in first, but do I? The answer is no, I have Chandy in second. And the reason why is because whoever picked Fungus for him is really stupid. That was a terrible pick. Joke there is that it was also me. Torn T in the 3rd round made me throw my computer out the window. Infuriating. Because that Mon I almost took in the 1st round. But I wanted to try something new, so I took Zam. Okay, he's got Megalodios. Great Pokemon. Lots of weaknesses, but great Pokemon. He's only missing unimportant types, and he does double up on a lot of types, but, you know, that's okay. That's okay. Let's talk about, you know, first of all, 2 of the types he doubles up on is because I chose Fungus for him. Marsh Stomp is a bit of an interesting choice. Okay. You know, we're just going to ignore these 3 Pokemon because they're probably never coming anyway, except for Licky Tongue. Might come 1 or 2 games to pass Wish, but, yeah, no, these 2 Pokemon are never coming, I don't think. These 4 Pokemon right here is literally, this is OU. This is like an full OU core that you could bring. And I wouldn't be surprised. He didn't take T-Tar to pair with Drill, which I can actually understand. He also didn't take Gigalith which I can understand a bit less. I think Gigalith here would have been super dope. Suicune. Okay, Kurokun also just fucks people up. It's so good. And Suicune is also a great utility Pokemon because it's 100, 115, 115 bulky water. It's the best rest user in the game. It gets past Wish really nicely because its HP is lower than its defenses. It can roar. It has insane coverage because I think it gets Air Slash, Dark Pulse, Extra Sensory, Icy Wind. I don't know. It gets a ton of crazy things. Alolan Muck is a really annoying Assault Vest Pokemon, and it's got a great typing because it's only weak to ground, and you have a Levitate Pokemon and a great flying type right here. However, you still have a lot of ground weaknesses, which I think you stockpiled on. People could take advantage of this if they have, like, a Mold Breaker ground type. Oh, wait, you took the best one. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with this team except for the low tiers and, you know, maybe a lack of good rock setters because you're going to be rocks drilling a bunch. But rock drill isn't even that bad. I mean, 95 average attack is good. The defense is there, nothing to sneeze at. And so what if you're slow? You have Koko, Torntea, Megalodi, Suicune, Muck Alola, and Delphox that are all 100 or higher. It's a very fast team, too. Wait, what did I just say was 115 speed? I halfway through that, okay, you know what? We're going to retry that. You've got Koko, Torntea, Megalodi, Delphox for your speed tiers. I looked at Spadef for the second of those speed tiers. Wacky. Okay. Next, best team. Just breathe it in for a second. Okay, you're done. For starters, one of the best Wish Passers in the game just got combined with 100 and 108 average defense in Spadef, which is ludicrous. Almost every single one of the Pokemon on his team has one of these defense stats that's higher than 100, oftentimes both. Oftentimes both. The only ones that don't are Unfezant, Darkrai, and Garchomp. And, like, who gives a fuck? Mega Gallade is a great Pokemon on this team because people always try to take Mega Gallade by itself as, like, the only Pokemon that goes in, and that never works. But Mega Gallade here, you have Darkrai and Chomp to worry about. You have an insane defense core of Pharaoh, Rotom Heat, Florges. And then you have Puku, which can trap and destroy things with Block, Toxic, Spite, Recover. Or, like, it's got Screens there, too. Screens on this team was so threatening. I can see a lot of Nasty Plot Rotom Heat being brought because you can afford to do that, which is really nice. Garchomp is such a pain in the butt to deal with, especially without Hidden Power Ice. Darkrai, if it hits its Hypnoses, can just win games by itself 6-0. Yeah, this team is crazy. Pharaoh is a great Pokemon without HP Fire. It basically forces the opponent to bring their fire type every week, which runs into, you know, pretty significant problems. I can see this team maybe being weak to Wisp without Heal Bell Florges, which is going to be running Wish Protect, Heal Bell, Moonblast, which, granted, I've done all the time, but you want to be able to bring stuff like Assault Vest Florges, get that nice 607 Spadef, and just literally truck things. Weezing is a fantastic Pokemon because you can either have Levitate or Neutralizing Gas. It's got Wisp, it's got Thunder Wave, it's got Pain Split. It's like a really good annoyer. Unfezant is another really good Pokemon with those Super Luck. I don't remember the high crit rate move. I think it's Air Slash. Yeah. Dusknoir is here. Set up Trick Room for something. I don't really know why Dusknoir is here, but also, just at the end of the day, look at the types. one of each, every type but Bug and Rock, which are the 2 types you don't need. Apparently he brings Garchomp, Mega Gallade, Pharaoh, Rotom Heat, Puku to like every draft league he's in. But like, does it even matter? His speed tiers are also really good. The only reason you see speed 75 is because he's got 5 speed Pukumuku, but you know, this is a great, great team. Okay. Let's separate it back into tiers. I think these are the 2 teams that are unviable, which is Bees and Lucar. Then I would say that Paraic, JTrickster, Tiny, Mega, and I'd say those 4 are like tier 3. Yeah, these are the 4 tier 3 teams. Wait, sorry. It's these 4 that are the tier 3 teams. The tier 2 teams would be like this, like these teams, this collection of 4. And then the tier 1 teams to take it all. I'm probably like tier 1.5, but I would put myself in tier 1 because I'm biased. Like, I can see any of these 6 teams winning. One other thing, to those who stuck around to the end, I will tell you that I was ranked 13th in a draft league PR once, and I went undefeated without making any adjustments until the finals where I lost. But okay, your PR placement is just my opinion and someone even more stupid than me named Datboi, who has an opinion as well. I'm joking around. Love you, Datboi. But these, like, any 16 of these teams except Bees can win. Yeah, that's it from me. Peace.